Hi, my name is Cathy and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to talk to you about the Hobonichi Cousin in the A5 size. This is a planner that I purchased towards the end of December, and I decided to make this a part of my planning routine for 2020. This is the first time I've used this book, and after a lot of researching and watching other YouTubers that use this on a daily basis, I really felt this was a good fit for me for what I needed this book to serve me. Now, if you watched any of my videos, you'll know that I have a Hobonichi sneaker weeks that I use on a daily basis, and I do a plan with me on a weekly basis to kind of show you how I use it. What I have found over the last couple of weeks is that there is a little bit of a gap in my planning needs, and that's where I went with the Hobonichi Cousin to be the main planner of my life. So with that, today's goal is to kind of explain to you what this planner is and how I will be using it for 2020. All right, so with that, we'll go ahead and dive in. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is this sticker here and explain to you why I have the mothership here. So a couple of weeks ago when I was watching YouTubers with cousins, Inky in the Brain, she had the idea of naming her planner, and I thought that was brilliant. And when I was brainstorming what I would be using this planner for and determining whether or not there really was a need, I kept referring it to as this would be the mothership. Like, this is the main honcho, like the big kahuna planner. And so I really liked the idea of naming my planner the mothership. And so I looked up Redbubble. They're a company that has a lot of different artists that provide stickers, and I found the mothership sticker, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant. The sticker down here is for my 49ers. That's what that reference is. Okay, I'm faithful to my 49ers. It's not an infidelity or fidelity sticker. It's about my fidelity to the Niners, not anything else in my relationship. Okay, just side note. Anyway, so this is what the planner looks like. This is in the A5 size. Now, when you buy this planner, you do have the option of having it split up into two different books, which is called the Cousin Avec. So basically, you have the first half of the year in one book, and then the second half of the year in the second book. And the reason for that is because this book it's got a good amount of weight to it. A lot of people like to use this for scrapbooking, and so they'll do and watercoloring. So this is a very fine Tomoe River paper, so people like to add things to the book to make it more creative and just be expressive and do some junk journaling. So you can imagine this book will get extremely chunky, and so people who do a lot of that creative additions to their planner like to use the Avec version, because then you don't have one big massive chunky book. You can have two smaller books that won't be as large over time. But for me, I'm going to be alternating between stickers and washi and weeks where I don't use any of it and just the pen. So my plan is really to uphold the size of this planner, or the width, as much as possible. So anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and just dive right in, and I'll show you how I'm using it. And also, I do want to provide just a brief overview. Okay, so if you've never seen this planner before, let me give you a couple tips of information. So this is a Japanese planner, so the quotes and everything in here are going to be in that language. Now, it does have the universal translation when it comes to the days of the month, the numeric, weekday abbreviations, all that stuff. So you can use it. It's very functional for those of us in the English language and really any language. It's an amazing book. I really, really like this book a lot. So also, with this being a Japanese planner, it does have a week start on Monday. So, for us in the US, we're used to having that Sunday start date. For the Japanese planners, it's going to start on Monday, which I have kind of grown accustomed to. I actually enjoy that. So that works for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So I have just a die cut that I got in some free mail. I forget where I got this from. Somebody included it in a purchase that I made, but I love it. It's a little cat unicorn. People also call me Cat, so my first name is Cathy, so a lot of people just be like, hey, Cat, so I thought this was appropriate. I like this decoration here. I have a memorial for my dad, and then I just have some decoration that I included in here. So A couple of things that I wanted to mention about the Cousin, or sorry, that's not specific to my needs. So it does give you several different view options for calendars. So the first view you're going to have here is going to be the current year that you're in on the far left. Upper right, it's going to have the previous year, and the year in the future will be on the bottom right hand corner. This book also includes a calendar view in a list type format. So sorry, I skipped where I've already started to document some stuff here, but basically you're going to have a list view for each month in 2020. So basically you have a line item for each day of the month all the way until the end, and you'll have some space to do whatever you please as far as maybe some goals, birthdays. This is commonly referred to as an index or a calendex. So some people that like to use a calendar in this format, maybe do some one-liner notes or anything like that on a daily basis, here you have that ability to do so here. I've already kind of pre-laid out how I intend to use this, and I can go over that with you in just a moment. The next couple of pages are going to be the monthly view pages. So the Japanese Cousin, the way it works is the first 12 months will be in that standard calendar view that we're all probably commonly used to, the calendar hanging in the kitchen wall. So you have, the monthly view. It actually will give you the December month before the new year. So I had my December spread, and then here's January, and it goes through all the way until, so you have June, July, August, September, October, November. It does give you, so here's the end of the new year that we're in today. The new, the December month for 2020. It does give you January, February, and March of the next year to do any future planning if you need to. So as you're coming towards the end of the book, you do have a space to document anything you might need, which comes in really handy. The next section that this has, so you have your monthly view. So I already went through the index. You have that list format. You have your monthly format, and you have your weekly format. So if you need to get a little granular with your scheduling and planning that's more time specific, you have that space to do so. So now you're going to have, basically after those several months of pages that are dedicated to that monthly view, you're going to have a weekly view. A weekly view for each week in the year. So 52 pages, or excuse me, 52 weeks that are going to be spread across 2 pages. You'll have your Monday through Sunday. You have time specific items here. You'll see that it's grid. It has the gridded paper, so it gives you some structure, but you have the ability to use this however you'd like in terms of maybe to major to-do lists for this week. A lot of people like to use this for just task lists specific to the week. If this is more of your style in terms of like a working calendar on a daily basis, a lot of people like to use that for this as well. So this will happen for the next 52 weeks. I'll just kind of scroll through. You can see, not scroll through. I don't know why I keep saying scroll through. And then after those 52 weeks are available to you, you're going to have a page dedicated for each day of the year. So if you would like to do even a more granular look into a specific day, you have the ability to be expressive and do whatever you'd like on a day specific page. So you have, it's going to say, so this is for April 25th. This is a Saturday. You're going to have some time specific, a time bar here to list anything you'd like to do time wise here, and then do some journaling if you'd like. There's always going to be a calendar on the bottom right hand corner that will show you kind of where you are within that month, which is really nice. If you look closely, you'll see that there are little check boxes that are kind of pre-laid out there for you. So if you wanted to use that for anything specifically, it kind of gives you some ideas of what this page can serve for you if you wanted to get more granular on a specific day. Some people just use this as free form note pages, and they don't really pay any attention to the date. And that will happen basically throughout the entire year. So you have, you have these little these indicators here are basically for the new month, all the way until December. So I've already gone through and set up this planner to help me with my needs for the coming year, and so I'll go ahead and go over that with you now. If it interests you, you're welcome to continue watching. All right, so as I explained, I had the memorial card that I had set up for my father who had passed last year. I have some things here that I really enjoyed this is actually washi that I got from a sample pack on an Etsy shop. If you're interested, I can comment that information down below. But these are really nice big pieces, and I thought it was very nice and thin, because the Tomoe River paper is very specific, right? You know, it's not very thick and girthy, and I think a lot of people, why they gravitate towards this type of book is because of the Tomoe River paper. So I like that that washi was fairly thin. Anyway, I went on a tangent, sorry. Alright, so with this calendar view, I won't be really doing anything with it. I just highlighted dates, paydays, and then I crossed out the dates that are already in the past. I put some stickers here to express. They're from Erin Condren. I just kind of put in just to kind of fill in some of the space that's available to you. And then basically how I will be using this index. So the first part of this of the month that I will be putting here, I'm going to actually be documenting my steps that I've taken for the entire year. I'll be going into Fitbit app and actually exporting that information out actually from their website. So the total steps taken for that month, calories burned, and miles walked. And that's something that I'm going to go ahead and continue to document throughout the year to hopefully progress and increase that number on a monthly basis. The next thing that I have here is the way I'm going to be using this is to index what occurred on those specific dates. So, you know, there's some days where I just did basic journaling for that day. So I just put, you know, journaling. I kind of like, you want to use this space to summarize that day or make it very specific that I need to quickly reference for some reason. I started, you know, as an example, my son had his first meeting for his tackle football. So that was kind of like the summary that I wanted to provide for January 4th, which was on a Saturday. So it's kind of like a small recap of what I did that day, the kind of highlight of the day. So, you know, yesterday the Niners beat Green Bay. So obviously I have more stuff. I do have more stuff documented on that day, but that's kind of the highlight. I wanted to put that here. The bottom part, I'm using it to track quarterly bills and monthly subscriptions so that I can cancel them and be mindful of them. And that's kind of how it is going to be for the rest of the year. And then it goes right into the monthly view. So this is a decorated monthly view. Let me show you what a blank monthly view looks like. So what I've gone through is I've put in the holidays that are specific to the United States. Since this is a Japanese planner, it's not going to recognize, you know, those major holidays that we would look for on an American-based calendar. But basically, you can see the way I'm using it is, you know, I pretty much put everything and anything that I need to be mindful of in that month calendar view. And then I go through and I start to break that down into my weekly view or my daily view or my Hobonichi Weeks everyday carry. This is kind of the main stop first to kind of go through plans between my husband, myself, my mother-in-law, my kids, anything that may be going on. I use some washi to be expressive. It's going to have the grid paper through the entire process, through the entire calendar, which is nice because it gives you some structure if you like to try and write straight. I know I do not write straight sometimes, so it's nice to have that structure here. I ended up writing some check boxes with some goals that I need to get completed on a monthly basis for that type of stuff I have documented there. This is my February spread. And then that's basically it for the monthly views. It's pretty straightforward, you know, that's just kind of how I use it. Lots of birthdays and events on the 7th, right? Let me go through here real quick and show you. Okay, so the weekly view. So I showed you the blank spread. This is kind of how I used it the first week. I was still trying to come up with the best format. So I had, since it's time specific, that's really what I want this view for. I don't necessarily put tasks in here because I like having a visual time specific view. So that's where I felt like I was kind of missing it in the Hobonichi week. So there's not a whole lot of space in that, and I get that. So that's where I kind of got into really wanting the cousin, because here, this was a couple weeks ago, I was able to kind of break down all the meetings that I had for work. So that grayed out section is going to be work specific. And then really it was my way of just visualizing everything going on for that week, which came in really handy for me. This was this past week that just happened. I kind of went on and off with this purple here that's highlighted is representation of me being asleep, but basically that center column here throughout the book is going to be my work schedule. And then this is actually the week that we are in now. So this week I decided to do a little bit different, use more black and white stickers, and then I grayed out the entire section that I know I will be dedicated to work. And then some other events that happen during work, I need to either make arrangements or see if I can, plan accordingly for those things that may interfere with work meetings. So I have that there. But there's a lot of, there's endless possibilities with using your weekly spread. For me specifically, it's to visualize my entire week of what needs to be done and at what time. So that's what I used it for. So that will be your 52 weeks. And then after that, like it says, it goes into the journaling pages. Now, some of this is going to be a little personal, so bear with me here while I try to find. So this was the first day of the new year. I actually did a chore list that day because I was home and I had a lot I needed to get done, so I used the spread to do that specifically. Let's see. This is me just being expressive with some washi and stickers. I had some random notes on Sunday that I just wanted to document things I had finished or wanted to make note of. I do use this little spider-looking star. Looks like a spider, doesn't it? Because when I was doing, there was days where I was using this as like a list of to-dos, and so if for some reason I didn't get it done, or if I was going through and migrating it, I just put a little star that says, okay, I've already gone through and kind of reconcile the page and know that there was nothing else that was outstanding. So that was kind of what that was for. So yeah, for the first week I kind of did the to-dos and a little bit of journaling on the right, or draw a little bit depending on what was going on. And then I kind of went away from that because I wanted more space for journaling, and I already have a lot of this information in my week, so I didn't want to be doubling up on rewriting a lot of that same information. So here I have some journaling that I did and some more journaling. That's kind of where how I've been documenting each day is journaling. And one of the things that I found helpful for me is, for those that may like journaling but may find the task to be overwhelming, is to break it down in some smaller bite-sized pieces. And so what I've done is I will summarize kind of what I want to talk about. So here's an example. So on the 17th, I talked to my grandparents. So I kind of highlighted that, like, this is a section where I'm going to talk about my grandparents. This is a section where I'm going to talk about my mother-in-law because she has, some health conditions that I want to be mindful of certain symptoms. I talked about my son, so I titled it, William, and then kind of did an overall. So I think that can come in handy for those that may want to start journaling, but you're not really sure on how to switch from one topic to the next, or you try to overthink the whole writing process and trying to make it right. Obviously, it's yours. You can do however you please. No one's going to judge you or, say anything about how you write your journaling. But one thing I would maybe consider is, because it's something that helps me. So, like, for instance, my son, with his condition, what I'd like to do is, if I'm writing notes in here about him and I want to be able to quickly refer back to it, I want to be able to see, okay, well, where did I talk about Jordan this day? So what I'm doing now is I'm going to write, okay, Jordan, highlight or underline, and then write that paragraph about him. So if I'm having to go to the doctor and we're kind of going through, diagnosis and behaviors and things like that to be mindful of, I can quickly refer back into my journaling pages if I want to and see, okay, where did I write about Jordan? And then I can go through and read kind of what it is that I documented, or it could be a memory about someone specifically. So yeah, that's just kind of how I use it. I did do some pre-planning a little bit with my son. His birthday's coming up in February, so I put this little sticker here, or no, sorry, it's not a sticker. This is like a cardstock that I cut out and taped down. That's basically it. I've only been in the planner for, it's 19 days now, and yesterday Niners won, so that's where I documented that piece, and today's the 20th, and so I'll just kind of go through, and this book is really to serve anything that I need that doesn't necessarily go in my week's pages. Now, I know in my weeks I have plenty of, I got the mega, so I have plenty of notes here, and I do feel very confident in being able to use all of this space, even though I have my cousin. This is a book that sits with me at my desk while I'm working. if I need to kind of go back and reflect, if I'm doing any planning in terms of bills or anything like that, I like to use this space for it. Another thing that I like to do is when I receive mail or emails, do you ever get that information that you're like, I need this information, but I don't want to save that email, or I don't want to save that piece of paper? What I like to do is actually document it in my dailies. So let's say today I go check the mail, and maybe there's some information that's come in that I want to be mindful of, like maybe some hours of operation change for the company that I do business with, or maybe some scheduling changes at school, or an announcement there that I want to remember, or an email or address. Basically what I've done is I started to document that on that specific day. I'll put like mail, and then I'll write a list of everything that I received that day that I want to be mindful of. Maybe it's bills come in, and maybe you want to just quickly reference that account number and that balance or whatever it is, so you can plug it into a different spreadsheet or whatever kind of analytics you may be doing with that information. I like the idea of document in this notebook, and then shredding that piece of paper or deleting that email, because it's kind of like a way of inboxing the items in this book. And then if I need to quickly refer to, let's say I have, I do my to-dos today, I do some journaling, and I put a couple notes here about a specific balance I may have with a credit card company, just as an example. My plan would be to then here, I can make a note, credit card balance, or like here, actually on the 3rd of January, I had quite a bunch of bills that I got because we were on vacation and we had our mail put on hold. So on the 3rd, I went through and I did bills in the mail. So I went through and I wrote down balances of different things that come up, so I can make sure to refer back to that when I'm doing my budgeting. I know where it is to look back at. All right, so that concludes how I use the Cousin, and I hope that you found this beneficial. I'd love to hear from you if you're using the Cousin and how you may be using it differently than I. Feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear from you, interact with the group. If you like this video and enjoy my content, feel free to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. All right, hope you guys have a good rest of the day. I will talk to you guys soon, and thanks for watching. Bye.